My wife faked a pregnancy to trap me. So I faked my death. If someone told me a year ago that my wife would fake a pregnancy to trap me in our marriage, I'd have laughed in their face. But now, looking back at everything she did, I wish I'd seen the red flags sooner. Because by the time I realized what was going on, it was already too late to just walk away the start of it all. We'd been together for almost 5 years, married for 2. At first, she was everything I thought I wanted. Smart, funny, romantic, but beneath that perfect exterior was something darker. She didn't love me. She loved control. I started noticing things after we got married. She'd go through my phone, accuse me of cheating if I came home late, even fake crying during fights just to make me feel guilty. I thought maybe I was just being paranoid, until the day she told me she was pregnant. She sat me down one night with tears in her eyes and said, "I have something to tell you." And she showed me a photo of an ultrasound. I froze. Part of me was scared. I wasn't ready to be a dad. But the other part was relieved. Maybe this baby would finally bring us closer together. For weeks, I doted on her, cooked for her, worked extra hours to save for the nursery. She'd post bump updates on Instagram, even though I noticed her stomach never really changed. Whenever I asked about doctor's appointments, she'd say she went alone because I was too busy. Still, I trusted her, until I made the mistake of looking closer. One night, she fell asleep with her phone on the couch. I wasn't snooping, I swear, but a notification popped up from a friend that said, "Girl, where did you even find that ultrasound photo?" My blood ran cold. I opened her messages, and there it was. She'd literally sent her friend the same photo she'd shown me, along with a text that said, "He's never going to leave me now." I felt sick. I confronted her the next morning, shaking, barely able to speak. At first, she denied everything, then started screaming, throwing things, saying I was trying to destroy her. When I showed her the messages, she broke down crying and said she only did it because she couldn't lose me. I walked out, but that night, she showed up at my brother's house, crying again, saying she was sorry and that she'd do anything to fix things. Everyone told me to just leave her, but you don't understand. She knew everything about me. My job, my family, my passwords. If I left, she'd destroy me. Then a week later, she told my family she'd lost the baby. I hadn't even told them she was pregnant. She showed up at my mother's house crying, saying I was abusive, that I'd stressed her out so much she miscarried. That's when I realized she wasn't just lying. She was rewriting reality. So I did the only thing I could think of. Something extreme. Something insane. I decided to stop existing. Part 2, when someone lies to you long enough, you start to question what's real. But when your own wife fakes a pregnancy just to keep you under her thumb, you stop questioning reality altogether. You start rewriting it. And that's exactly what I did. The plan? I didn't decide to fake my death overnight. It started with the idea of disappearing, just leaving everything behind. But the problem was she'd never stop looking for me. This woman had tracked my phone before, guessed my passwords, even followed me to work once just to make sure I was where I said I'd be. So if I was going to get out, I needed her to believe I was gone for good. It all began 2 weeks after she told my family she'd lost the baby. I came home one night, and she was sitting in the dark, just staring at the wall. When I turned the light on, she smiled at me and said, "We can start trying again now." That was it. That was the moment I knew. This wasn't just manipulation anymore. It was madness. That I started small. Deleted social media. Stopped using my main email. Transferred money into an old offshore account I'd made in college. Then I started leaving hints. Subtle ones. A few arguments in public, a broken glass near the sink, late-night walks where I'd forget my phone. I needed her to believe something was off, like I was losing it. The final touch came one rainy Friday night. I parked my car by the old bridge outside town, left my wallet, my phone, and a note that simply said, "I can't do this anymore. I'm sorry." Then I walked half a mile to where a friend I trusted was waiting with a change of clothes and a ticket booked under a fake name. The next day, my name was everywhere. Local man presumed dead after car found abandoned. They searched the river for days. My wife was on the news crying, talking about how she never saw the signs. I shouldn't have watched, but I couldn't look away. There was this twisted part of me that wanted her to feel it, To know what it was like to lose something for real, that I moved 3 states away, changed my appearance, started over. For months, it worked. Until one night, I got an email from an unknown address. The subject line was, "I know you're alive." No greeting, no explanation, just a photo of me walking out of a grocery store in my new city. So now, I don't know who's watching me. I don't know if it's her or someone else who figured out my secret. All I know is, if she found me once, she'll find me again. Part 3 of Faking My Death made me free. Her finding out made me famous. Because when a ghost walks back into town, someone always ends up buried for real. When that anonymous email showed up with a picture of me, alive, breathing, shopping, I knew the game wasn't over. At first, I thought it was her. But the message came from an encrypted server. Someone who knew what they were doing. 3 days later, I got another email. "You owe me one favor, or everyone finds out you're not dead." Attached, a news headline from my old hometown about a memorial service she was planning for me. That's when I decided, if she wanted a ghost, I'd give her one that I returned under a new name. Different hair, a little facial hair, different build. But the moment I saw her at that service, fake crying into a handkerchief she didn't even bother wetting, I felt something I hadn't felt since I died. Peace and rage. She was still playing victim. She'd even set up a GoFundMe for mental health recovery after her husband's tragic passing. Almost $30,000 raised. That's when I made my move that a few nights later, I waited in her driveway, watching her stumble out of her car. When she turned toward the porch light, I stepped out of the shadows. She froze, dropped her purse, didn't breathe for at least 10 seconds. "You're supposed to be dead," she whispered. I smiled. "Yeah, you're supposed to be pregnant." Her face went pale, then red, then pale again. She tried to run inside, but I followed, calm as ever. Inside her living room were wedding photos, candles, and a framed picture of me at our fake memorial. The irony almost made me laugh. "What do you want?" she hissed. "Closure," I said, "and maybe an apology." She broke down, crying, not the fake kind this time. She admitted everything. She'd lied about the pregnancy to stop me from leaving. When I died, she thought it was her fault. But instead of guilt, she turned it into attention. The donations, the interviews, the sympathy, it became her drug. "You ruined my life," she screamed. "No," I said. "You ruined mine." I just hit restart. Before I left, I handed her a folder. Inside were screenshots, bank records, and her fake pregnancy test receipts, all evidence I'd collected before I died. Then I told her, "You can keep lying, but if you do, this goes public." I walked away. She didn't follow. A week later, the GoFundMe was deleted. Her accounts went dark. I heard she moved out of state. Good, it's been a year now. Sometimes I think about her when I see couples holding hands. Not out of love, just as a reminder of how far I've come. They say ghosts haunt because they have unfinished business. Well, mine's done.